I was trying to hold off on making this episode only because I didn't want to jump the gun when it came to PJ Locke's performance against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I had to do my due diligence. I went back and I watched the film, and I'm not going to lie to you, it is not good. So the Broncos, in my opinion, have a glaring problem that they need to address before the playoffs start. And on this episode of the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, welcome in, by the way, my name is Moose, did we see enough to be out on PJ Locke? I get it. It's one start, but I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't that great. And I'm not the only one that's thinking this. There are plenty of Denver Broncos fans around social media that are echoing the exact same things that I'm seeing. Lou Scataglia, who is on Predominantly Orange, said, "I hate to say I told you so in regards to PJ Locke, but the Broncos definitely have to make a change there ASAP. He does not need defensive snaps." Now, I feel like that might be a little bit harsh in the way that he's wording that, but I think the premise remains the same. He's not good enough. And then other fans are getting in there saying the Broncos will not win a Super Bowl with Riley Moss and PJ Locke getting reasonable reps. And trust me, we'll touch on Riley Moss here later on in the episode. So before we get into the advanced analytic breakdown of PJ Locke, Riley Moss, and maybe a little bit of Pat Surtain in this as well, should the Denver Broncos sign a safety before the playoffs start? I'm looking at you, Justin Simmons. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. That's going to be the pinned comment of today's video. Let's start with the obvious, though. PJ Locke did not have a good game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. There were clear communication errors. His coverage was not sticky. He seemed to get bullied against Brenton Strange, the tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars, specifically on one of those touchdown passes that Strange caught. It didn't look like a clean operation in the backfield, and that wasn't just a PJ Locke problem. I'll give him some credit for that. Everybody played pretty poorly outside of Pat Surtain. Jaquan McMillan missed tackles. Riley Moss missed a bunch of tackles and gave up big plays, and PJ Locke definitely didn't play well. But if we were looking at the advanced analytics, right, so let's just break it down outside of the stereotypical tackles, PBUs, interceptions. He did have 6 tackles, but his average depth of target, which is that ADOT stat right there, 17 yards per throw. And he was targeted 9 times. And his coverage grade, even worse, 33.3. That is the trifecta of bad right there. And I'm also very aware that Trevor Lawrence had a great game. I am. I'm not going to sit here and mince words with you. It wasn't like they were playing some scrub in Justin Fields who can only make one read. Trevor Lawrence was a number 1 overall pick for a reason. But I will also say that playing alongside Pat Surtain has its disadvantages because he is so good. And there's a lot of people that saw exactly what I did from Trevor Lawrence's performance against the Denver Broncos secondary. When one of the side of the fields is isolated from Pat Surtain, Trevor Lawrence just focuses on the other direction. And Jeff Legwold, who was quoted by the Sporting News, was basically surmising the game and said, the summary here for the Broncos and the problem with Pat Surtain is that while he's shutting down a part of the field, opposing quarterbacks, like Trevor, can just decide to target the other defenders on the field, meaning they go after Riley Moss, they go after PJ Locke, they go after Jahdae Barron and Jaquan McMillan. Surtain is essentially funneling targets to the other defensive backs and in turn is making the struggling DB susceptible to big plays. Well, we also know that if you went and broke down the target share that Trevor Lawrence threw against, Pat Surtain got targeted 1 time. The other percent of targets, in coverage snaps, Riley Moss was targeted 28.5% of the time. PJ Locke, 21.4% of the time. So that means half of the time that Trevor Lawrence threw the football, 49.9% of the time, he was targeting either Riley or PJ Locke. That's not good. And I hate to break it to you, Broncos fans, but Trevor Lawrence is exactly what you're going to see in just 3 weeks' time. You're going to play Trevor Lawrence or Drake May or Josh Allen or CJ Stroud or Justin Herbert. Aaron Rodgers is probably the odd man out. He's probably the worst on this list. But all of those other 5 guys can play quarterback at an elite level. period. So it's not like this problem is going away with the quarterbacks. Because if this was week 3, you could say, okay, well, they're going to go up against some really bad quarterbacks, so it doesn't really matter. No, that part's over. The time to evaluate PJ Locke and your problem in the secondary, that's over. Now you've got to focus on putting the best players on the field. And I don't think PJ Locke is the best option on the field. So maybe you have to shade Jahdae Barron up to safety and put in Chris Abrams-Drain. Maybe it's Jahdae Barron and Jaquan McMillan. I don't think PJ Locke should be on the field. Or, option B, maybe you sign Justin Simmons. He's in Denver, been in Denver recently. Now, before we break down Justin Simmons again here on the show, I've got to give a big shout out to my friends over at Polymarket. It's time to challenge the status quo, and Polymarket is now live to help us do so. You can be a part of the revolutionary alternative to sportsbooks with our special invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the special link that is in the description and the comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with the invite code chat. That's invite code chat. Polymarket is a predictions marketplace that allows you to make trades and on outcomes of sporting events. And as you can see here to my right, this is what the app looks like in real time. It allows you to kind of follow along and enjoy the game at your earliest convenience. It is super user-friendly, and I absolutely love what I'm looking at. It's also legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their brand new iOS app now. Polymarket has the lowest fees. You trade against other people, not the platform. You can cash out anytime and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. Now, for this week's game, Polymarket is giving Denver an 89% chance to win. On the flip side, Kansas City only at 13%. Obviously, with no Patrick Mahomes, I like Denver to win and win big. But I could always trade on the dip for Kansas City if they somehow miraculously take a lead. So, do yourself a favor, download the app today. $10 is free waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive code chat at chatsports.com/polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. All of that's in the comments and description of today's video. So Justin Simmons has been in Denver recently for some media awareness. And I know that he has lived in Denver even when he was playing for the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm sure he's back at Mile High or in that area quite frequently. Sign him. Call his agent up. Vet minimum. Try to get him a Super Bowl ring. Why not? The guy is so much better than PJ Locke. And I get it. He hasn't played all season, but I still believe he could give you just as good as what PJ Locke is giving you, if not better, just based off of his pure talent alone. I mean, if we go back to 2024, the last time Justin Simmons suited up, albeit for the Dirty Birds of the Atlanta Falcons, PJ Locke didn't even have that great of a season compared to Justin Simmons. Yes, he had more tackles. He had more tackles for loss. Justin Simmons had more PBUs, he had more interceptions, and a better coverage grade. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think PJ Locke is the answer right now. Justin Simmons, is he the answer? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he's just a short-term Band-Aid on a bullet hole. But I know it can stop the bleeding even for a couple of games. And if you give him enough time, especially if the Denver Broncos win the number 1 overall seed, that extra week to prep your body, to prep your mind, and to kind of get back ingratiated with the Vance Joseph defense, boom, Justin Simmons is cooking. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Because the play and the athleticism might just be one thing. The communication, though, that we saw from PJ Locke and the Broncos secondary is an entire different situation. Well, Justin Simmons is a very effective communicator at the safety position. You do not want this coming problem to happen, and I screenshotted this problem just for your guys' awareness. I circled Trevor Lawrence in black, I circled Jaquan McMillan in yellow, and I circled PJ Locke in blue. On this play was a 25-yard gain. You can clearly see one of two things happening here. Jaquan McMillan, I'm playing weatherman now for you. Jaquan McMillan is barking at PJ Locke back over here. PJ Locke is moving up to listen to him because he's not understanding the coverage. Trevor Lawrence recognizes this and starts manically clapping because he knows they're not ready. They're not ready. If you go back and rewatch this entire clip, you can see Trevor Lawrence identifies the problem area like a good quarterback should, claps his ass off, takes the snap, delivers an out route into the flat, and then boom, cuts up the sideline, 25-yard gain. That can't happen in the playoffs. You only get one game at a time, right? Because obviously that's not true, but you know my point. You get one game at a time. And again, I'm not the only one seeing this. PJ Locke is a glaring weakness in pass coverage. Fan of the Broncos. Leo coming in saying, I miss Brandon Jones. Please cut PJ Locke. Fan of the Broncos. So it isn't just Moose who's out here trying to sell you off of PJ Locke. Everybody saw what I saw. And like I told you, didn't want to make this episode right away because I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't nearly as bad as I originally thought. And then you look at the PFF grades and you're like, yikes. And then you watch the film and you're like, whoa, this is not good. And if sports writers are already commenting on the problem, you know it's an issue. Like ESPN writers would not be going out saying, hey, we noticed something if it wasn't the case. They would have just been like, Broncos played like crap. Move on to the next week. That would have been it. But I also want to at least go back and circle around, do a complete 360 here, or 180 or whatever you want to call it, to the Justin Simmons thing. With the Broncos placing cornerback Delaren Turner-Yell back on the practice squad, you now have another opening on the 53-man roster. Sign Justin Simmons. Put pen to paper. Ink it up. Throw him out there. Get him a ring. Get him a ring. Because Brandon Jones is not coming back, guys. He's done. So I'm going to ask you the question that I asked you at the very beginning of this episode. Should the Denver Broncos sign a safety before the playoffs start? You know my answer. I'm penciling in yes or penning in yes. Whatever you want to call it. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button. Share your thoughts with me as always. Mile high salute to you. Be cool.